Giving you a heads up. Welcome again to Green Chalice Gathering number two in 2026. And today we're going to be talking about gardens and food. And we are grateful to have a team here from Ridglea Christian Church and Russ Boyd and Adrian and Carolyn and Nathan as well. And
Mhm.
we will also be having Willie Huston from Pick and Grin Farms in Kentucky to be sharing with us. And we have already offered a prayer and grief and gratitude together. And I want to remind us in the midst of that uh, part of this time of uncertainty calls forth invitation for us to continue to find one another in the midst of this work, to look out for other, like you said, Adrienne, earlier, like-minded and like-hearted people, and also to remember nature oftentimes can be a healer for us. That when we go to the garden or we go to the forest, in Texas, you need to go either really early or later in the evening. But still, there is a real power in accessing God's creation. We've heard about birds and other ways of healing. And that is a resilience practice. It is a way of limiting trauma and lowering anxiety. There's all sorts of scientific evidence that being in nature is healthy for us, but there's also the spiritual call to interact with God's creation. So we're grateful for that reminder. I'm going to share my screen, and I think I will be able to do to play it. Um, Grief and gratitude. We're going to be moving today through grief and gratitudes and opening practice of checking in, which we will do that at the end if we need to, some more trios, conversations, wise practice leaders. And I'd like to share a little bit more about Green Chalice to begin. And Many of you already know both churches that are represented here are connected to Green Chalice, but we are grateful that Carol is here with us from Kentucky, and she helped begin Green Chalice about 20 years ago. And it started in the Kentucky region as a group of congregations looking to do creation care and climate justice, and it slowly grew, and then was invited into general church ministry into Disciples Home Mission. And so that's when I had an opportunity to start working with and learning from Carol. And so now we have about 280 congregations that are Green Chalice churches, and close to 30, maybe over 30 now, certified churches, which is about a 2-year process. And we've had about 5 churches become certified this year. It's been a really exciting year for us in 2026, and we're not sure exactly why there's been an addition of interest around this, but we're really excited about that.
Scott, I don't know if you're showing anything. We can't see anything.
Okay, well, that's helpful to know. Let me see if I can do something better. I'm going to stop sharing.
I could see that you're presenting, but it was just a black screen.
Okay, I'm sure there's something cool about it. All right. These are not even that important. I'm so glad that I have this recorded because there's. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, you just see like a video or like,
Well, it's the first screen of the video, yes.
okay, I'm trying to go backwards. I might just like not talk about it. I might not share my screen right now. Let's see what happens. Well, let me just read this to you while I'm trying to figure it out. This is from Genesis. God said, "Let the earth bring forth vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and fruit trees, each bearing fruit with seed according to its kind." And it was so. The earth produced vegetation, seed-bearing plants according to their kinds, and trees bearing fruit with seed according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good. This invitation from Genesis to continue to delight in creation. Without the sharing, I think I'm just going to move ahead. Oh, look, I'm going to try one more time.
There you go.
Okay, that's closer.
Mhm.
Just a couple more slides of invitation of why you all are already garden people. So I don't need to convince you, but there will be people watching this that are maybe curious, like why would a church want to do a garden, or why would a community want to do a garden? And so these are a few ideas around that. Robin Wall Kimmerer, who wrote Braiding Sweetgrass, talks about connection and relationships. And we just discovered that or have a conversation about our human relationship. But Robin says that people often ask me what one thing I would do to recommend to restore relationships between land and people. And my answer, she says, is almost always plant a garden. It's good for the health of the earth and it's good for the health of the people. A garden is a nursery for nurturing connection, the soil for cultivation of practical reverence, and its power goes far beyond the garden gate. Once you develop a relationship with a little patch of earth, it becomes a seed itself. Something essential happens in the vegetable garden. It's a place where if you can't say I love you out loud, you can say it in seeds, and the land will reciprocate in beans. This is a garden at Camp Caroline, and they have been able to produce a beautiful, not only vegetable garden close to their dining hall, but in North Carolina, there they have a great pollinator garden. We've learned and continue to learn from communities of color and communities that have been oppressed that growing food is an act of liberation, not only of our heart and of our mind, but as communities and people. And we're reminded of that by Fannie Lou Hamer, civil rights activist and founder of the Freedom Farm Cooperative. She says that if you have 400 quarts of greens and gumbo soup canned for the winter, no one can push you around or tell you what to do. And more recently, Ron Finley, an urban farmer and food justice activist out of South Central Los Angeles, said a similar thing, saying growing your own food gives you power. Once you have it, it's something that never can be taken from you. We've learned from Reverend Dr. Heber Brown III, and he serves with the Black Church Food Security Network and connects not only communities to gardening and learning how to grow their own food in apartheid zones of food, but he also connects Black farms and Black farmers to congregations that have less access to healthy food, building this network of health and liberation. It's a beautiful. We had an opportunity to sit with him a couple of times in the past year. It's been a real gift. A couple more just gardens just to get us excited as we're heading into the conversation with Ridglea. This is Alameda Christian Church in Nashville, Tennessee, and they have a robust garden. We have so many Green Chalice churches are participating in gardens, and we recognize that it's a challenge. It's not an easy feat, and oftentimes it benefits to partner with community members in the midst of it because it's just tiring and hard work. Greenleaf Christian Church in North Carolina has not only this amazing garden on their land, but they also have kind of a picnic dining area called the Seed to Plate dining area, the edible dining space that they've created next to their garden. Just a beautiful expression of connections around gardening and care. Yeah, let's hear from our wise practice leaders. I'll stop sharing my screen so y'all can share yours.
Well, I can start if you want to hear from Ridglea.
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay. We've been working on a few little notes today. At Ridglea Christian, we have two different gardens. We have one called, oh, very nice. Thank you, Adrienne. Those look great. We have what we call the Jubilee Garden. It was started in around 2010, 2011 by a young adult dining group. We have 25 beds. This is the Giving Garden. That's the other garden that we have. In that garden, it's rented to community members or church members for $30 a year. And what you grow, you get to keep and eat. It's been a great way for people to learn how to garden. We've met some amazing people. Adrienne is one of them. She was one of our volunteers that came and volunteered, and she just became more and more a part of our garden. The second garden we have is called the Ridglea Giving Garden. It was started in 2023. Now, as you can see from this picture, it's very well put together. The reason being, it was started by the food bank here in Fort Worth. It's called the Tarrant Area Food Bank. In 2013, they put out a grant proposal that several of us in the church decided that we would write a grant, and we won the grant. So it was called the Learning Garden for 10 years. And what they did was it was kind of a demonstration garden. So at the end of 10 years, they came to us and said that they were ready to move on to another gardening project closer to their offices. So we had to decide what to do with this space. They left a lot of amazing infrastructure, drip irrigation, the shed, you can see the picnic tables, a huge compost area, some raised beds, and very amazing enriched soil. So there were 5 of us church members that decided we would put our heads together and see if we could find somebody that might come in. And there we are. Somebody that might want to come in and use the garden, maybe like a chef, to grow food and use it in their restaurant. And after a couple of months of looking around, talking to a lot of different people, we couldn't find anyone. So these 5 amazing people right here decided that we could get together and try to do something ourselves. So we, because we're some of us are in our 70s. One person is not, I think. We decided that we were going to have to hire a garden manager to help us, a young person that could run the work days and make decisions on, what to plant when and all the different things that you need to do in a garden. But to do that, somebody had to raise money. This is Joey and Anissa. These are our garden managers. And we've had them since we started the garden. We started very, very small. We had Anissa worked for 10 hours a week and Joey worked for 5. As in these 2 years that we've been doing this, they're now up to, let's see, Joey works 15 hours and Anissa works 12. And I'll just mention, so everyone's curious, we pay them $21 an hour to help in the garden. Let's see. Oh, one of the really important things that happened back before we even started the Giving Garden was the food bank came to us and said that would we be interested in becoming part of their website where we could list our work days on the website when we were working at the Jubilee Garden. At this point, they were running the Learning Garden. And so we decided to learn how to do that. And it was so wonderful. It was really a turning point for the Jubilee Garden that every Tuesday when we'd get up there to work, we'd see 2 or 3 volunteers coming to help us. And just that little boost of young, strong people was just amazing to help the Jubilee Garden to become a really strong, innovative garden with using lots of organic methods and composting our own soil. I do have let me tell you a little bit about one of the things that we feel like has been so successful with the Learning Garden is that of the 5 people that are on the team, we had a wonderful mix of careers. We had 2 people who were writers. We had Gerald, who was a builder and a fix-everything kind of guy. And then I'm a graphic designer. So it's just like we had a magical mixture of people that could write grants and create posters and marketing materials. Anissa has become an amazing social media poster. And so that and all of that has helped us to raise money so that we can support these two people to help us do what we do. In the learning garden, in the giving garden, we donate all of our food to the food bank. We also donate to what we call Las Vegas Trail Rise, which is a part of town that has some issues that they're dealing with. And they have a wonderful community center where they have Big Brothers and Sisters program. And on Thursdays, every other Thursday, they have a time when the kids are giving a grocery bag and they get to go in and pick groceries for their families. So every other Thursday, we take whatever we can up there, our produce. So that's been a really fun, wonderful thing to see, and to see those kids do that. So we get great support from our church. I think that's another part that's made this garden extremely successful. First, we can use their 501(c) nonprofit status. Sorry, my husband is printing something. But we also get amazing help from the church's financial team. There are bathrooms that we have access to when we have work days, and meeting spaces that are available, and of course, copiers. We also have a room inside the church where we call it the seed room, where we can store stuff. And one of these days, we hope to start our own seeds. We have not done that yet. So we have a wonderful partnership with a woman named Mary Jo Green. She is a school garden creator. She helps schools build school gardens all over town. And she rents, well, all over, actually, Dallas-Fort Worth. She rents a quarter of our garden, and that's helped us a lot financially. But she has a demonstration garden at our garden that she can show teachers what to do with their raised beds, like in the summertime when they're not there, how to maintain things when they're there or not there. And so she's been a wonderful and exciting person to have as part of our team. We work with some large groups, Amazon, big groups that come in and work. But one of the most fun things is we work with a couple of young adult at a school called Boulevard Heights, where they have a variety of disabilities. And we have a group of autistic teens that come in that we work with. So that's been really fun. In 2024, we produced 1,440 pounds of vegetables. Last year, 2025, we did 2,508. So far this year, we're at 470. And I thought I'd give you just a little bit of a background as far as our financial arrangements. We looked back and we noticed that in 2025, our expenses were almost $40,000 with paying our garden managers and doing we've been trying to do some upgrading the compost area. And I'm hoping Adrian will talk about compost area. Some of the things they've done there have been just really, really amazing, getting tons of compost. So our expenses were about $40,000, and we received nearly $45,000 in grants. So we also get some income from some workshops, and then of course our rent income. So, the other thing we wanted to talk about was the Jubilee Garden. Is a garden where we just rent the beds for $30 a year, and people keep their vegetables. And that $30 a year has covered all of the expenses for that garden. So we have a variety of 2 different gardens that can show you the different some different ways that you can garden and run a community garden. Adrienne, you want to talk a little bit about the compost area?
Sure. Yeah, let me get to some pictures of our compost area here. So when we first took this over, this area in here was all cordoned off with wooden pallets, and they were very, very deep, and that's how they were building compost, which was fine. It was just hard to turn and things like that. We ended up going to these shepherd's bins, which produces compost a little bit faster. We are actually able to take the bins off, turn it, and let it keep cooking. And so, yeah, we're making all of our own compost that goes right back onto our garden. We are supremely interested in regenerative methods and very, very interested in soil health. And so that's one of the reasons that we're doing this with the compost. We get our feedstock for the compost from a local culinary school and also from church members who have signed up to be part of our compost team. So they bring us their buckets. We also had asked the community to pitch in, and certain times of the year we get leaves, and that's the browns that we use. Whenever we combine that with the greens that we get from the culinary school, and we make some very beautiful compost. Also, once a year, right after Thanksgiving, we solicit pumpkins, and we get pumpkins from all over the place. And you can see here that we actually trying something new this year. We dug a trench, and we put pumpkins in there, and we are going to, that's going to be a little garden area. But we love our compost. That's just we kids sift it. Kids love to find they can look at it and see that it's living, and see that there's biology going on in there. There's the things happening in there. And that's what we explain to them about how important that is to healthy soil. And by doing this and using our drip irrigation, we don't use any chemicals or pesticides. You'd be surprised if you have that healthy soil. You'd be surprised at how you can. The plants are able to fend off a lot of things that might kill them otherwise, or at least weaken them otherwise. So this is just some more areas of some more pictures of areas in the compost. This is when they were digging that trench for the pumpkin patch. We've got pumpkin seeds coming up like crazy now. And then we've got something we aligned with, or we partnered with a place called Giving Grove, and they have given us many fruit trees. I think we have around 15 fruit trees now. So we've got kind of a little orchard going too. We've got fig and peach and plum and apple and persimmon trees and pear trees. And so we are growing our own little orchard now. We also have blackberries that grow there, and Mustang grapes. So we have a variety of things, and it's exciting because different times of the year we take different things to the food banks, and they are always excited to see, what they're going to get next. So, and of course these are just some pictures of volunteers that we just absolutely could not do it without our volunteers, and people show up, and some stay, some we never see again, but it's always a wonderful connection with whoever happens to be there. Here's some members of our church that are doing some work here, putting up a sail shade so that we could put our compost sifter under the shade, because it gets pretty hot out there. We don't have a tree over that. We have some nice trees in the garden, but not right there. So, and then some little ones. I wish you could see probably the I don't know how the folks are lined up, but this is one of our gardeners here, Janet, giving a lesson to some little ones about some greens, and just having a good time. These are just more of our pictures that just kind of end on the note of the volunteers and how very important they are to us. And I will stop my sharing. Okay.
Any brief reflections or questions for this team? I guess my first reaction is like, wow, this is amazing. Thank you for the inspiration and the pictures and the stories of the ways that you all are connecting with each other and connecting with the community and with this. I was just like very, very inspired. So thank you. Other questions or curiosities for these two different gardens, the Giving Garden and the
Jubilee Garden.
Garden. Yes.
I do want to say that we couldn't do what we do without Russ's help. his support, his backing.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear what Russ has to say.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. So, I'm probably out in the garden, not working every day, but I'm just walking out there to drop off my own compost from the staff kitchen or whatever, so I can talk to our garden staff and see how the groups are doing and all those kind of things. But yeah, I'm just really glad um, when the Terry Area Food Bank told us they were turning that back over to us, we had like 3 months notice to figure out what to do with this whole property. So we're kind of panicked. And I was really glad we already had, a group of people who were cared about our garden. And Adrienne wasn't even a church member. She was part of another church, but connected to our gardens. And they all agreed to kind of form a team and help figure it out. And our they brought a proposal to our board, who offered as a backup funding source some reserve funds that we have, that ended up most of those being used for solar panels, since we ended up not needing them for the Giving Garden, which just went live 2 weeks ago. That's a whole other thing. But once we kind of took that leap of faith and said, we're going to do this ourselves and we're going to try to figure it out, the amazing thing was then suddenly all kinds of people started coming out and wanting to be part of it. So that what we found is no third party wanted to take over the space and be in charge of it. But once they knew that we were doing it and we were in charge of it, then there were lots of organizations who said, oh, well, if y'all are going to do it, then yeah, we'd love to be part of this. And so Mary Jo Green came in with her corner for the food bank, and they've just developed so many great partnerships, and done such a fantastic job of just constantly seeking out grants and all the random and strange places that grants come from. We have a beehive now that's funded by an auto dealership in the area that has grants. And that makes it possible for us to have bees and get honey from that. And Texas Health, which is the big hospital system, is also one. They have a community wellness program. And so a lot of what we're able to buy in terms of the infrastructure, the tools, the shade, the things you see in the pictures that have made the garden into what it is, are because of that Texas Health grant. And that's been really helpful, to have those kind of enduring connections with them. And like they said, I'm so grateful our volunteer treasurers are willing to take on also just sorting all these checks out, the checks that are coming in and the grants and how to label everything to make sure that on the back end we're doing what we need to. So, I think it's something that, not everybody at church is going to be out in the garden. They're just not everybody can physically do it. Not everybody has the time to spend time in the garden, but it's something everybody in the church, I think, is really, really proud of and loves telling people about. So there's a lot of pride and word of mouth that this is something our church is doing. And people, love finding ways that even if they can't be out there volunteering, they can help out and spread the word and get other people connected. Tony asked what size is our congregation. I think currently our membership is about 160 total members. So other people from other churches would think we are a small church. In Disciples, I think we're a medium-sized church, in the disciple landscape right now. So yeah, so there you go.
I'd like to echo, Russ has just been a tremendous leader and supporter of this, and was on that initial garden team, but he was gone to his duty when we took the picture of the 5, so there were actually 6 there. But well, we didn't get him in the picture, but no, he's been tremendous to support us and encourage us and lead us through this process.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all so much. What an amazing gift to have you join us, and that you're a part of the Justice in Creation Fellowship again this summer. And so we'll get to hear from you in a variety of ways through that, Nathan, and the team. And just grateful for your ongoing partnership and for your mentoring of not only so many congregations in the Southwest region and in our denomination, but so many people and organizations in the Fort Worth area. I mean, this congregation and this garden have taught so many people and so many organizations about food and about health and about gardens. And so we're just really, really grateful for your example. Willie Huston is here. We are grateful to have him. He has been a friend of Green Chalice for a number of years, has played music for us at a General Assembly events, and has been a conversation with us and about food and about his ongoing work at his farm, but then also the ways that he thinks about farming. And when you said soil, you're excited about soil, I was like, oh boy, this is where you're just like softball toss to Willie. So thank you for being here. And
Mm.
yeah, just anything you want to share with us about your what you're doing and any tips you have for us and that sort of thing. Great.
Okay, thanks, Scott. Yeah, my name is Willie. I've got, I really appreciate all the work that you all do. I love the names of the gardens. Uh, so it's very Robin Wall Kimmerer-esque. And just recently read her latest book, Serviceberry. Um, but yeah, basically, so I accidentally double booked myself, a couple different things tonight. So I'm somewhere in town right now. So I apologize for that without slides or anything. But yeah, so I'm in Rockville, Kentucky. I have 26 acres. And I'm essentially regenerative farming is sort of the name for the term for the farm. It's the popular term. I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite term for the type of farming that I do. Silvopasture, restorative, farming. There's some terms that I personally like better, but essentially it's whole systems farming. And so what I do is on 16 acres, I have grazing strips with diverse grasses, and they're in like 40-foot strips, and then in between those are 15-foot wide strips of wildflowers. And there's 130 plus different species of wildflowers in those, from blackberries to boneset to, and then they all bloom at different times of the season. So I'm seeing in those strips recently, I'm seeing the return of like native birds. I've got the Merlin app, which I'm sure a lot of y'all have now, and it's been perfect mornings, so I can turn it on, and there's been like every morning 26 different birds, and I see some of them from bluebirds, some turkey, and things like that. So, but I rotate the cows in the diverse grasses every single day once spring hits. So that's already begun a month into that now. And you can see like I like to call them crap circles, but like crop circles, but the day after, basically you can see two different kinds of beetles, dung beetles in those, drawing the manure down into the ground, creating carbon sequestration and things like this. And then the grasses aren't trampled at all. So they're growing back stronger. The roots are aggregating the soil even better. But also my vet bill is very low because they're eating such a diversity of grasses. And so, and they're eating all like plantain and everything else right now in the early stages. So, I mean, they're getting a lot of these nutrients. I do feed them loose mineral just to make up, even though you may not have to in this system, because they're getting like magnesium and selenium and all these things. And then plus, I don't know if some of y'all have probably seen, there's a famous chef in LA that I just heard her podcast where she was a vegan chef. She's sort of turning some ears because she started using grass finished beef, and it made a lot of customers mad and everything. But she went through this whole thing of like how sometimes it's more vegan because there's more research of how grass finished beef has as much omega 3s as like salmon apparently. And um, and so the what was I going to say about that? And so for the health of us, as well as the cow, and if you were an animal, you would want to be in this kind of setting with shade from the trees and the wildflower strips, and things like that. And so she talks about how, in a vegan situation, some restaurants, like more things die to produce avocados, to put avocados on the plate. There are thousands of squirrels, even humans sometimes, and then all the shipping and all that. And there's only one thing that dies in this system with livestock and silvopasture, and that's the cow had a great life, and you would want to be the cow in that particular farm. Um, so the uh, I want to just there was something, so I'm starting to rotate chickens behind them, and so that they can kind of like keep the parasite load down even more and leave their particular manure that has different micronutrients in it. So some of y'all know, my wife's the minister in Bowling Green, Kentucky at Disciples Church. And so one of my biggest mentors is Johnny Ray. Some of y'all know, who's a part of the bigger, the wide Disciple Church. He's retired now. He was just here this weekend. I've gotten some cows from him, actually. Anyhow, he has this term he finishes emails with, and I steal it often, but it's called from soil to soul. So one thing I've been speaking at around lately is that how we treat the soil is how we treat one another. And I think evolutionary and religious wise, we've been in these settings of diversity for so long, in collaboration with other species and small species for so long, that we created this without which. So what? Right now, there's the number two endemic is supposedly loneliness, and I think it's a direct correlation of how we're treating the soil, because right now most of it's monoculture, and I think we're literally becoming a mono culture. And so I do think it's a direct reflection of that, because the only thing that can grow in a corn and soy field is the corn and soy, and that's it. All the beneficial insects are killed, even the worms tilled up and everything, all the pesticides, fungicides, all that. And it's not even edible food. I mean, it makes processed food, but that, to me, that's not food. And it's going to fuel, and then of course, like meat for like McDonald's and and settings that feedlots and things like that. And of course, it's all a big money thing, and it's funding a lot of like even university programs and curriculum and things, and funding politicians and things. So I'm speaking really fast. So, sorry, but I'm trying to think of what other. So one of my big things right now, I'm working with pigs. I rotationally graze pigs. I finished them off on like acorns, which they like way more than corn. I do use non-GMO with them because they need a certain amount of protein per day, unlike a cow. And I'm currently working on a documentary on the farm, just got finished. It's called Willie Plus Pigs, and it'll be coming out publicly soon. But it's all about just animal husbandry, and how you get so close to these animals, and then you have to take them in. And it's something I'm having to just, try to, my twin girls, who are about 10 years old, are learning. They're helping me raise them now. But I ran them through I can run them through unhealthy pastures that aren't growing so much, and they dig up root, because seed bank can stay in the soil for up to 200 years. And so they create that diversity and help grazing the following years for cows in certain areas. And of course, you're getting the healthy pork as well. And then, yeah, the whole system. So I have honeybees, which is good for the pollination and good for like I have these tiers within, not just economically, but like in growth and it's short, mid, and long-term situations. So I'm growing chestnuts every 40 feet in those wildflower strips, which will provide shade. It's a long-term vision of the canopy, which is the final stage from like soil. You get the soil, which is creating its way for these shrubs and small, and wildflowers and things, which is creating certain things in the soil for the final stage, which is the canopy. And then it's going to provide shade and then food for U-pick situations, and I can ship those someday too. But that's a future project. So in between, so the short term is like the meat and the seasonal things I have, like in the honey and the syrups I make from the honey, elderberry syrup, and things like this. And then, yeah, I think that one of my favorite heroes is Wendell which I'm sure is the same for you all. But we're doing some stuff with the Berry Center coming up with this documentary. Silas House has signed on, a poet, which means the world to me, because everything I do is poetry in motion. I mean, I have to keep my phone and try not to lose it. In the past year, it's kind of like because the ideas flow, and I can't help but write them down. But he, but there's an unrelated Barry. His name is Thomas Barry. He's kind of eco theologian. He says he's kind of coined the term of getting back away from science and religion, but back to a place of biology and spirituality, and that everything we're dealing with in an upside down world with food and relationships and things like this has everything to do not with morality. And so we have a moral issue in this country with everything. And so if we did what natives used to like to do, with have relationships with like new trees as individuals, and got to know them and have friendships with some of these other species, then we wouldn't deal with loneliness and things like this. And I don't think I can honestly say I never get lonely. And I think it's because I have a great community because of this in Bowling Green, a wide demographic community that is branched out in different sectors, if you will, between church and music and farmers markets and things like this. But on the farm, there's hundreds of species that I feel in communion with. And so, yeah, I basically have 2 minutes, and then, if anybody, or another minute, it looks like, but if anybody has questions, that will help me kind of like answer maybe a few things of what I'm trying to do here. And I can share things later over email, and things like this. So, yeah, does anybody have questions?
Willie, I just have to tell you, I'm just thrilled to hear this today. 6 years ago, during COVID, I was watching a documentary called "Kiss the Ground," and I'm
Oh,
sure,
yeah.
yeah, and it's like you could have been on that documentary, or maybe you are going to be
Yeah.
documentaries. But that's what got me
Oh, I
so
love that one.
interested in soil health and made me think, what can I do? What can I do? And that's how I went looking, and that's how I found Ridglea Christian Church in the garden there and everything. And so
Huh.
that there's a direct line from that film to where I'm at today, and it's
Okay. Amen.
yeah, and being all interested in the regenerative method. So, yeah, congratulations for what you're doing. I know it's super hard work, but wow,
Is
how
it?
exciting and interesting.
Very cool. Yeah. There's a new one called Common Ground on
Yeah,
Netflix, by the
got it.
way. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
I've got it. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing this new film that you're in, and so I hope you'll let us know, and we can let us.
Yeah. Mhm. I can email Scott or something, and send some Instagram links and all that too. And so I'll make a note to do that.
Can you remind me the name of your farm, Willie?
It's Pick and Grin Farm.
Pick and
My
Grin.
wife, yeah, my wife came up with that because I play the banjo, and so it was, I guess, obvious to her that, yeah,
You said your wife was the minister at the Bowling Green Church.
yes, Megan
That's
Houston, yes.
that's super exciting. Y'all are going to be here at the end. Y'all are going to bring a group here to Ridglea Christian at the end of with Be the Neighbor at the end of
Oh, no
July.
way.
And I'm gonna,
Okay.
yeah, and I'm the site director for that. So I can't wait.
Oh,
Can't
nice. Yeah.
wait.
With
And
Allison and
Willie,
yeah.
Listen, yeah,
I was going to say Willie's wife Megan was seminary friends and longtime friends with Allison Lanza, so
cool.
they
All
Yes.
go
right.
way back.
Oh, that's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, she's a great friend of mine too. Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
sure and tell her I've met you.
And Spencer, of course.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Any other questions?
I have one. I'm just really close by, Willie, in Hopkinsville. Can I come see you, please?
Oh, yes, absolutely. You let me, I don't know if my number showed up here or not.
Yeah,
But
but if you
again,
get an email, just post it in the chat or something, and then I'll get in touch with you.
yeah, reach out to me that way, and then and I'll put it in the chat here actually, my number, if anyone wants to reach out and ask questions or visit anytime. That's one of my favorite things to do. And so I've got a lot of students coming to the farm from Western Kentucky right now.
You do.
Doing some documentation, and I'm trying to do educational things and all that good stuff. So
So it didn't sound like you're organic, but you're close. Is
well, I'm beyond organic in most ways. The only ways I'm not organic is with the pig feed, and it's non-GMO. And it's just that like it's a third of the cost of organic feed right now, and so that's one of the biggest reasons I can't. It doesn't make any sense if I just with pig feed anyway. It doesn't make any sense. With cows, it's all grass and then hay in the winter. So, um, but with everything else, honey and
It's
we've
hard to
got
have organic honey, isn't it?
what's that? Well, you can't. The thing about that is you can't really label it that because
You never
the
know where they're
people.
getting their pollen.
Yes, the bees go like however many miles away. So people that list it that way,
Yeah,
basically, that honey's one of the most unregulated products in this country, that and garlic. And so the problem is people get away with a lot of stuff, but they're not supposed to put organic honey on there because the bees
right,
could be getting, something from, soybeans from a couple miles away that aren't organic.
right, right. I'll be in
Yeah.
touch. I promise I'll be in touch.
Yeah, please do. Yeah. I was just up in Hopkinsville. Anyways, yeah.
Well, you have to come see me too.
Okay. Yeah. Please reach out. Yeah. That would be good.
Well, I know that you've got you're double booked,
Yep,
and
I got to run. Sorry.
yeah, well, we're grateful for you, and if it's all right, I just want to do a little blessing on both of your ministries, and then I do have some. I mean, once you leave, Willie, I have some announcements and like some Green Chalice stuff. So the rest of you are welcome to. I would love for you to stay on and just hear a little bit more about Green Chalice stuff. But if it's all right, I'll just do a quick blessing over Pick and Grin Farms and over the Ridglea Collective Farms. Dear God, we are grateful for the innovative and origin stories of these pieces of land, for the ways that people have come together with not only a diverse set of ideas and humans that have needs and have skills and gifts and passions, but also for all these amazing creatures that live on these two pieces of land. And grateful for the ways that they're sharing stories and inspiring us, and ask your blessing on the ministries that they are a part of. You will continue to bring about beautiful ideas and relationships and more fruit from their labor. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thanks, friends. Take care,
All
Willie. More to
right, I'll
come.
email y'all soon. All right, thanks so much, Scott. All right.
Right, take care.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna try to just kidding. I'm gonna go and try to share my screen again, just because I wanted a little bit of extra adventure, and then and share with you a couple of these slides. Can you see it now? Yeah. All right, so this is just a couple of announcements. Our climate ambassador training is always available to do with Blessed Tomorrow. Uh, Coming up in 2 weeks is the Carol may have already left. She did leave, but this is her big event with Blessed Tomorrow, and congregations host this event for these Saturdays. About 190 disciples were a part of this, and 2,000 participants across these different locations. And it's a climate and faith forum. And Ayanna Elizabeth Johnson is the main keynoter, but they have a variety of teachers, and you can be a host site for that, get a little grant money, have some food, and then watch some of the forum itself. And then you can apply for grants, actually, not the same kind of size grants that you all are applying for, but it could be a grant that would be helpful for you. And then just a couple of save the dates on down the road. One is the Black Church and Climate Change webinar with Apostle Sharon Cosby, and that's in July, and you're welcome to join us for that. And then the Orion Scott Clergy Retreat. Russ, if you're around and would like a little breather, come out to Christ Mount. We'd love to have you the first week of September. And with that, I wanted to share just the names of this Justice and Creation Fellowship. And I don't know if you can see if it's big enough for you to check out, but we have another 12 ministry locations and 12 fellows, and we're really excited to be able to support this again. This is our third year, and this is because of a gift of Heights Christian Church in Houston, Texas, which closed their ministry and then gave away thousands and thousands of dollars to be able to support 20 different ministries. And Green Chalices were one of the recipients of that. And then because of their gift, now we have about probably 35 churches and camps that have received funding through that gift that they've given to us. And so Ridglea is one of those churches, and we're really excited for the innovation, the partnership, and the relationships that they'll have not only in their community, but across these ministries as we meet together 3 times over the summer. So I'm excited about that. And yeah, I think that's it. This is us. Last weekend, Carol came up for a little Lutheran retreat under a dogwood tree, and we're really, really grateful. Do you all have any other announcements or things to share for the good of the group before we do kind of a benediction?
I was just going to tell our folks, and I'll email this out. I'm pretty sure for that Eco Justice Climate Day that's coming up, I think University Christian Church is a host site in Fort Worth. So if any of our folks would like to be part of that, they're set up to host that.
Great.
I have a question. I'm kind of new to the party. I tried a lot of the things you're talking about several years with First Christian in Hopkinsville, and I just don't get any enthusiasm for gardening from the community, from the church. And I'm an avid gardener. I should show you my fingernails. They're really nasty. But if anybody's got some ideas or some wisdom to share, you can do it. I'll put my email in the chat. I'd love to visit with people. This is a passion of mine. I'm into native plants. I'm a master gardener. I'm a retired 4-H agent. And it's something that I feel is critical for our future. And I just don't get the buy-in or the feeling that people in this community understand it's in the broad picture, understand it's important. So if there's any kind of workshops or anything or a magic wand you've got, I'd love to have it.
That sounds great. And I just put my email in the chat. And so I'd love to just chat with you. We could just set up a phone call or something like that. I don't have the magic that what you just described. I don't have that necessarily. But I have had experiences with a lot of churches. And one of my short answer for everyone and for anyone that watches this later on is that part of the process is listening to the congregation to know what their passion is and their needs. So it will be super frustrating for you and anyone that's trying to do something that the church is not interested in. And I've heard this from people that are trying to do recycling or composting or to stop plastics. And if their church isn't into it, it's going to be super anger producing. People get really mad because they feel like their church isn't interested in caring for creation. First Christian Church of Hopkinsville may be interested in caring for creation, but in a different way than you are. And so that's kind of a short answer is listening to the Spirit of God, how God is already moving. Maybe VBS is something that's exciting for your congregation. And so how do you care for kids in that way? Or maybe they love music. And so you start doing creation care hymns. And so starting with where there's passion is an important step versus doing, the list of the kind of the go-to solar panels, which originally is doing it all. So solar panels, composting gardens. Some churches just aren't into it, and some churches don't have buildings or land at all. And so we're working with them to try to help them discern what is that first step that makes the best sense. But I'm happy to talk more and kind of dream with you a little bit more about it. Other thoughts or things for the good of the group? Well, as a way for us to step out of our time together, I wonder if you would unmute and just share a word of benediction, a good word of what you're carrying forth with you after hearing what you've heard and the connections you've made two-dimensionally with one another and with Willie and Carol. What will you be carrying forth with you?
I'm carrying a little hope. I'm glad to see this is going on.
I'm
I'm
carrying
excited.
inspiration. I'm inspired.
I'm excited.
Mhm.
I'm very passionate, especially more so now being surrounded with like-minded people um, in this space. Very, very excited.
I'm looking forward to reading some books and watching documentaries that I heard mentioned in our chat. So
Mhm. And I'm deeply grateful. Blessings on the rest of your evening, and thank you so much for participating and sharing your wisdom and care. And we will